Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Basil, founder of Sendit Markets. And today I want to talk about the differences, my experiences actually, and the differences now that I've come to learn from building a business in the Web2 world and then now building a tech startup in Web3 here in this side of the realm. So now, I've been in tech startup, building a tech startup for I would say the past 8 9 months. So I have a lot of experience, but still so much to learn, and I'm learning every single day. But that's the beauty of it, right? So I just want to talk about maybe so if you're essentially a tech startup or a newly founded tech startup, maybe this video would be relatable to you, and maybe just also just to talk about my experiences, and then maybe you have some similarities. So initially, I came from the e-commerce world. I used to be in the e-commerce world for 10 plus years. I was one of those, like, how do you make $10,000 a month selling fidget spinner? I was one of those guys. Back in 2016, I started on Shopify, but before that, 2010, I was on eBay. So 2016 was when like mainstream adoption was starting, and that's when like YouTube was popping off with this like make money gurus, you know what I mean, and this like internet hustle culture was just booming. So I quit university. Well, not really. I quit my degree. What I mean is, I got my degree, but then I just, as soon as I got it, I didn't work in it. So I quit my degree, and I decided, yeah, like I just wanted to continue what I knew, what I was good at was just selling stuff online, and things that I used to do back in 2010 was just drop ship from China on eBay. I was like, how about I just look at the new way in 2016, and that was when Shopify was available. Decided to jump on that. Thankfully, I was able to be successful. It did take a lot of time to learn all of it, but I want to say in that industry, you have the ability to the ability for trial and error, and the dependency on self is much greater than what I've noticed here on the Web3 or just even just tech startups in general. Why? Well, in the e-commerce world, you're essentially you are doing all the work yourself. You're the one who's product hunting. You're the one who is product researching. You are the UI UX. You are the software. Sometimes you need to learn how to code stuff. You're also the guy who has to be the marketer. So you need to see where are the best avenues for me to get customers to buy my products, and all of these different journeys. Like, what tools do I need to use? How do I stay on top of the trends? What kind of marketing tactics, and how can I get an advantage over my competition? So all those different things you kind of need to already like learn. So you can expect already like a whole year of you just learning that. And in that process, it's up to you, how fast you want to learn. But the best way you're going to learn is just by doing. So you're going to be investing your own capital. Most of the time, it's just your individual capital, because the barrier to entry is just so small. You could take $2,000 or $1,000 to start and test. Let me run some ads on this product. It didn't work. Oh, this is where the drop offs are happening. I get some data back. I adjust. Maybe it's the product. Maybe it's the creative of the ad. Maybe it's something that has to do with my UX on the website. And then you can take that data, adjust, but you're knowing if you should stick on building that product and selling it in that day, in that week. The turnaround also to see profits is much shorter. It's something that you can realize within a week. And you can essentially start creating passive income on that side of the world quite quickly if you know what you're doing. And even if you don't know what you're doing, you can still figure it out within that span. Like, so in that year, you're going to learn so much that you're going to still make 10, 15K that entire year, but it's you learning. The following periods after that, it's exponential growth. So it's just understanding those basics. Now, what happens in that world is, because when it gets to a point where you're doing successful numbers and you want to scale, those are other things that you're going to need to start learning, right? Like, how can I adjust my product or my brand that I'm building, and position it in a way that it's going to establish itself, in the market as this is the leading brand that sells this X product, right? And you have to go down now the different marketing routes and building a brand around this product, adjusting and optimizing your logistics. Who are you using a 3PL service? Do you have a supplier? Do you have a warehouse? How can I reduce the period and time to deliver the product, and shipping times and the processing times, and who do I have for customer service? And you're hiring VAs. Now, as you know, as I say these things, you're probably like, oh shit, this is so many things. But what you realize, these are things that you can just add and adjust as time goes and as you are already successful. But you're already making capital. So now you have capital. Once you have money, you can take your time with shit. I'll tell you that right now. If you have money, you're in the position of power. All right. Now, versus building in the tech startup world, if you're someone who's a newly graduate, or just someone who just you wanted to take your stab now in building a startup, it's completely different. Okay, if you have your own savings, and which is usually most times, like, I would suggest you would have some savings already before you enter this world, before you start a startup. Why? Because essentially you will be going through a long period of time if you're building a product or a platform or a service, right? Something that includes building and developing a software. Now, obviously, with AI, things are much easier, but still, you do need a period of time where you have to go through the idea phase, the validation of your idea phase, which includes researching, asking customers, will people want to buy this or use this product? How does your product solve their problem? Is their problem even worth wanting to go ahead and use your platform? How can you monetize this platform or product that you're building? Who is your customer? How do they find you, right? Rather than the other parts of the business in the Web3 or in the Web2 e-commerce world, where it's just like, oh, here's one standard, Shopify. Okay, I'll go build a website, plug and play, right? Get a product, AliExpress, use this de-essers app, plug and play, right? All things are plug and play. But on this side, in the startup, you just kind of have to figure out the foundations before you can go ahead and start implementing those ideas and building upon those ideas, right? In the ecom world, you have the foundations. The foundations are provided for you. But in the Web3 or in the tech startup world, the foundations are not provided. You can use, most people who are going to know about what the foundations are going to mostly be technical individuals that are developers, especially when you're building software or products in that platform's section. Now, if you are non-technically gifted, then you are technically, if you're not technically gifted, then you have to go and source an individual who can do that for you. And then if you're in an early startup, you have to also get them excited about your idea and how your idea solves this X problem. And from there, you have to build this team, afford to be able to fund the idea over a course set period of time, build out an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. All right, get feedback from individuals, whether it's investors, whether it's angels, whether it's your peers and customers, and get feedback, right? Will they be interested in investing in this? And once it's something that is interesting, the founder has to now shift his focus from what is happening on the product side, and then has to shift it to, okay, I need to go into funding mode. And funding mode is essentially where you have to go, it's a long stretch of essentially out calls, or uh, even if it's cold outreach, or warm leads from people that you already know that are going to make intros. So it's reliant on your network. That's the most important thing. So you literally have to go after your network, and you have to shill your idea, and you have to say, hey, this is my idea, it's fucking great, you should check it out. And you just have to do it every single day for as many people as you can, right? To get some people who really are like, okay, you know what, I know this guy, he seems legit, he has some data that says people would like to use his product. But you have to understand, now you're going through this long period of time, right? Unfunded. What we call it on this side is essentially you're just bankrolling it. So you're bankrolling it, but it's a long stretch of period of time. And then all while now you have to go and present yourself to individuals who probably don't know about your industry when you want to talk about when you want to talk to probably investors that are not from your industry. And I think that's like one thing I've noticed in the Web3 space. Like most people, when I say I'm building Sendit Markets, which is like this e-commerce crypto where anybody can earn passive income selling their products and just get paid directly in stablecoins. Most people don't understand like why e-commerce even needs decentralization, or like why it even needs a non KYC platform or any of those benefits that we offer. And then even like the digital market, they don't understand how people would want to go and buy, whether it's courses or access to communities. Initially, they don't get it, but certain individuals do, right? They do understand that this is actually everybody who's turning into, who's creating self-worth and a self-brand is essentially now a person of an opinionated leader, right? A key opinionated leader, which is basically someone who people look up to, right? And they want to learn from. And if they want to learn from them, they have knowledge that they want to sell. So, anyways, beyond that, um, it involves you going out to these individuals and essentially preaching for a course of, sometimes, like if you're good and you have a good network, that can be 1 month, and depends on how much you're raising. It can be 1 month, all the way up to a whole year sometimes. Now, if it takes a year, that's a lot, but that's even 6 months is like, holy shit, that's a lot. But you're now putting 90% of your time and focus into that direction, which then in return, you need to make sure that your team is always motivated at the same time. Okay. With that, you have to build a community. So with that, you have to go and you still have to present yourself with marketing. Your budgets are tight. You don't want to go ahead and hire an individual to go and start doing your marketing because that's going to cost you X months. Like, what's your runway going to be at that point, right? But these are all things a new startup founder has to go through. And I think that period where it's like this pain period, like that moves, like you think is moving slowly. I learned this from someone. I would say like the most important thing is stack those little wins and like enjoy the little wins, even though like they might not feel like they're a little bit. I've come to appreciate those little wins more. Um, and like it's all right to go through like 50 different emotions in a week. The difference in this side of the world is you're not getting customer validation in terms of, or like even acquaintance validation or anything that like in capital wise, and from the result of the product. You know what I mean? While on the other side, it's like I can do these all on my own, unreliant of people or teams initially, and I can go and get that and source that capital by already going and testing the market with my ideas with already existing foundational like applications. And I don't need any technical background. All I need is a YouTube video on how to do it. And that is essentially what we're trying to build here in the crypto world, where you can go and earn this passive income, but we're going to be giving you that commerce foundation to be able to do that. So if you're from anywhere, even in the world, you'd be able to sell stuff. So those are the two differences that I would say I've come to learn and experience with my past year in the tech startup world. It's been humbling, but it's been exciting at the same time. Because I think because you have to truly believe what you are building and like the value you are going to be bringing the market and its users by using this product. And thankfully now we have like over 100 plus creators, that are waiting to want to use this product. And that part alone, like when I have a bad day, like the people in the community are like, yo, when is it gonna come out? You know what I mean? Like, yo, I can't wait to do this and that. And sometimes they'll go ahead and like create content or even like they create stuff to engage with you. So it's like, I think that knowing that there's people out there that want to use this and there's people out there that are essentially just waiting for it, that's what keeps pushing me. It's those little wins. So if you learned anything, join us and join our Send It Creators channel down there. Subscribe though. Cheers.